This week on the Roofing Report, another tragic incident put roofing regulations back in the news this week. Then, a local news station and homeowner are calling out an impersonator who is damaging a real contractor's reputation. Later, we'll cover the latest law change that targets storm chasers. And we've got an exclusive update out of Baltimore. You don't want to miss this feel-good story. Welcome back to the Roofing Report. I'm Patrick Carr, your guest host for Dimitri this week. As always, if you appreciate these videos, do us a big favor, hit the like button down below. It lets us know that you appreciate the content. And if you have a tip or some good news to share, send it to Sydney at roofinginsights.com. Now, let's get to the news.
Accidents.
Our first story this week is a tragedy. It's something we wish we didn't have to cover, but it's important to highlight. Here's what happened.
We are tracking breaking news this afternoon. A teenager is dead. Another person seriously hurt in a workplace incident in Great Bend. The Barton County Sheriff says a roofing company was doing work on the main hangar at the airport when their bucket hit high voltage power lines. 16-year-old Ivan Mullins was electrocuted. A 24-year-old man was flown to Wichita to be treated for serious burns. They are still investigating.
If you watch our reports, you know this is not the first time a miner has been injured or even killed on the job this year. Roofing is consistently ranked one of the most dangerous occupations in the U.S. And for that reason, miners are not allowed to work on roofs under federal law. In this case, the Kansas Department of Labor and OSHA are investigating. Our hearts go out to the family and friends of Ivan Mullins at this time.
Manufacturers and materials.
Next up is a manufacturing update. Malarkey announced the location of their next shingle plant. It's going to be in Franklin, Indiana. Franklin was chosen to expand Malarkey's service in the Midwest and Northeast. They will break ground later this year. It'll eventually be a 300,000 square foot facility. It's expected to be up and running in the middle of 2026. More news is coming up, but first, I want to invite you all to an event right here in Orlando, Florida, this Thursday, August the 29th. There's going to be a workshop for business owners hosted by no other than SMB Modalities. They'll be teaching you how to use AI and sales automation to fund your day-to-day cash needs. You'll learn how to use digital tools, platforms, and applications in a hands-on setting. The goal is to set up your business with 24/7 lead generation and sales automation. The Roofing Insights team will be there to film the entire thing. And here's the best part, tickets are free. All you have to do is use the discount directory. You can get them on Eventbrite. Just go to the link in the description of the video. Look forward to seeing everybody there.
Fines, scams, and jail time.
A homeowner and local news station are calling out scammers for impersonating a real contractor. It all started when the scammers offered to do a free roof inspection. They told the elderly homeowner that they would fix a small hole in his roof for $500. When they came back a few days later, that had changed.
They were up there about 20 minutes, come down, and they said, it's a lot worse than we thought. You're going to have your whole roof replaced. It'll be about $20,000. And I says, that's a lot more than $500.
With part of the roof on the ground, Hampton wanted to think.
I says, I'll have to check with my insurance company. They said, oh, well, insurance won't cover it. And I says, well, my son's moving in with me, so let me call him and see what he says. As soon as I got on the phone, they started packing everything up and left.
His son made it up onto the roof and found this, a total mess.
I can't comprehend what their motivation was. They didn't have to do all that damage.
Leaving Hampton perplexed and with a new set of problems.
But maybe they perceive me as being alone and helpless. I don't know.
Hampton received this business card from them, so we looked into the company. It's in good standing with the state of Colorado. We found its social media, and here's where we found some red flags. The phone number, email, and address were all different from the details on this card.
The subscriber you have dialed is not in service.
We're going to try again. Not hopeful.
The subscriber you have dialed is not in service. If you feel you've received this message in error, Please hang up and try your call.
So that number is not legit. Let's try the real one.
I got the real number.
Hello?
Hi, is this Rocky Mountain Home Renovations?
It is.
Finally, an actual person. This is Robert Gurley on the phone. He was not surprised we were calling. He said another family called him with a similar scenario. So we asked him to go on camera and met up with him at a job site in Boulder.
I don't really know. One of the upsides to the way that I built my business is by referral only. And so I have relationships with my clients. I'm not just somebody that they pulled out of the yellow pages or off of Yelp or something like that.
Advertising isn't something Gurley does for his business. He's a one-man show, and when he learned about this, it brought up a lot of emotions.
And that really, really bothers me because contractors already kind of have a bad name. And I've worked really, really hard for a lot of years, and I put literally blood, sweat, and tears into my business to try and build it and to operate in an ethical manner.
Man, you cannot help but feel for the contractor and the homeowner in this situation. Fortunately for Mr. Hampton, he has found another roofer to do the repairs, and his insurance company agreed to pay for the replacement due to the hail damage. As for the real owner of Rocky Mountain Home Renovations, after the news station contacted him, he heard of a second case where he was impersonated. He has reported the situation to the police. We can only hope these scammers are caught soon.
Rules and regulations.
And speaking of scammers, a new law in North Carolina is targeting roofing fraud. It was passed because of an uptick in scams after big storm events. The law gives homeowners a 5-day cancellation period for roof work after an insurance claim is denied. Basically, it's giving homeowners an out if their insurance will not cover the repairs. Contractors have to wait those 5 days to start the work. Violators can be charged with a misdemeanor. With the insurance crisis getting worse, we'll be watching to see if other states pass similar laws.
Good news.
All right, last but certainly not least, we've got some good news for you. We have a follow-up on a story from a few months ago. Here's what happened back in April.
When she went to bed, Ozzie Campbell would lay awake, looking up at this. And on nights it rained, she slept in a chair in her living room.
It just pulls down. And in the middle room, it's the same way.
Back in January, she told us about the contractor she paid $6,000 to repair and replace her roof.
I thought they was fixing my roof, and they wasn't. They just took my money and left. And didn't come back. And this is the only place I can stay.
SM Masonry and Construction isn't licensed in Maryland. They didn't respond to our calls and emails. And Miss Campbell's family couldn't find an address for Hugh Doyle to hold him responsible for the damage, leaving her with little to no options. Until Miss Campbell's plight, seen in our report, reached two individuals wanting to make things right.
I was like, this is my job. I want to do this. I want to take care of this homeowner.
Virgil Murphy with Shared Stories Home and Remodeling, a Baltimore-based business, teamed up with the Roof Gallery in Atlanta.
The roofing industry usually has like a bad reputation to it, so we want to fix that reputation, and we do that by leading by example, and first by fixing that mistake, getting her a good roof, and then going from there.
Those two contractors stepped up to fix her roof, but that wasn't the end of the story. There's a lot of damage on the inside of the home. Virgil, who you saw in the first clip, has been working with the city to fund the repairs, and now he has the permit. Our team followed up with him to get an update.
The roof we completed, and obviously the interior had issues. So her daughters reached out to the LIGHT program here in Baltimore, which is the grant fund sourcing in Baltimore for anyone that is 60 and up. So they were starting to work on it, the city-wise, but I work for the city as well, and I do a lot of grant fund stuff with them. And you know, it's the bureaucracy. Most of the time, they're very slow and take a long time. And due to her home just raining inside, I was like, we just like jumped in front of the city, knocked the roof out. And now the city is still paying for her interior to get done. There's a lot. I mean, her entire upstairs, all the ceilings, one of the closets, the bathroom has to get remodeled. All the ceilings on the first floor because the water continued to go down through the brick wall. So we have to do the kitchen, the living room, and the dining room ceilings as well. So the city is paying for that. And we just had our meeting about a week and a half ago at the home signing the contracts and everything. I got the permit. Now I'm just waiting for them to give me the ATP is what they call it, the authorization to proceed. and then we'll be completing the interior as well. I think about, my grandmother, my aunts, my sisters, my mom, stuff like that. And that's like very close to my heart, especially the ladies in my family more so than anything are the closest thing to my heart. So when I saw that, I was like, this lady needs help. I know that we're a reputable contractor. I know that we do everything to look to up to codes and everything like that. So yeah, the motivation was just thinking about others overall and just, my family and what I would want to do. If that was my grandmother as the owner of a contracting company, I would have been out there anyway. But at the same time, it's still a situation of that person did nothing to deserve this. The door knocking thing has gotten to a point to where, it is becoming more of a scam every day, unfortunately. And that was like the biggest scam that you can possibly see.
We just want to give a shout out to Virgil and Don and to all the contractors who take on projects just like this one. It's so important, not just for the homeowner, but for the entire industry. Kudos to you guys for giving us some good news to share.
The biggest drama of the week in the roofing industry happened after we already filmed a roofing report. Since the video is already down and we still have tons of questions coming to us on all the channels, I want to give you a timeline what took place and just document this journey so you know what happened if you missed the whole story. On Thursday about 7:30 in the morning, Benny Fisher published a podcast with Ryan Ward. Ryan Ward, a self-proclaimed porn addict for 20 years, shared his journey. About a year ago, a little bit over, April 2023, he got busted for child pornography. During the podcast interview with Benny, he shared his fantasies about having sexual relationship with the daughter of his fiance at the time. And it was very nasty piece of content. Benny produced two pieces. He did short reel, obviously to get views and engagement, and also full podcast was published 7:30 in the morning. Immediately by 9 o'clock, he pissed off tens of people. People were commenting, especially females of the industry who experienced child abuse, sexual abuse early on when they were teenagers. They start calling it out. It was very offensive to anyone who has experience with this problem. So comments started rolling in. Please take it down. Why are you doing it? I was on a trip and with the Lance Beckman in Marco Island. We were actually together. Lance Beckman showed me the piece of content and showed me the comments. He was supposed to be our speaker at the conference, and I have to make a quick decision. And within 2 hours, I said I'll do everything in my power to remove him from the stage. And Benny Fisher is not going to be speaking at the Roofing Process Conference. We called Benny Fisher, both me and Lance text him. We begged him to take the video down. He would not take the video down. His sister, his family was asking to take the video down. Community was asking to take the video down. But the problem was bigger than that. Him and Joe Hughes both knew Ryan Ward. They were friends with Ryan Ward. They both knew about the podcast. They knew the story. And to make things worse, they were in Atlanta, Georgia, doing event together, teaching contractors how to do social media, what to post, what not to post. And people start calling out first Benny Fisher. Benny would not take the video down until 4:40, I believe, almost 5 p.m. when it was a little bit too late, because at that point the videos have hundreds of comments. I recorded my video. I make my public statements that is absolutely not acceptable. I don't know what he was thinking, but people condemned Benny Fisher. The problem was that his partner, Joseph Hughes, was right next to him the whole day. He also knew about the problem. He also knew about the content. He'd seen the comments, but he decided not to act. People, by the end of the day, start calling Joseph Hughes. Why are you associating with this guy? Why are you not influencing him? You guys in it together. And Joseph Hughes starts saying things like, well, I have my morals and I have my core values, and this is against my core values. So Joseph Hughes waited until end of the day, to 8 p.m. to make a statement. He doesn't agree with it, but yet he still did not dissociate himself with Benny, and people were calling for it. It took Joseph Hughes 2 days to cut ties with Benny, and Joseph kept talking about his core values, that he does not tolerate it, but that's what he said. But he was silenced for 2 days and community was not okay with it. That's how Joseph Hughes was dragged into it. I was a little bit harsh on him. I apologize to Joseph Hughes personally, sent him personal message of apology after the fact. But we called out both Joseph Hughes and Benny Fisher for essentially not reacting. The piece of content was very, very bad. But if Benny Fisher would delete it right away in the morning, 9, 10 o'clock, from the first feedback, we would not have this problem. If Joseph Hughes would take his opportunity right away to address it during his event, hey, here's what's happening, I know what's going on, I don't agree with it, he could end it at the beginning as well. But because they were waiting for too long, because they were silenced for too long, community just keep boiling, and they have hundreds of hate comments, and as a result, Benny pretty much got canceled, and Joseph Hughes have to cut ties with him. By the end of the second day, Joseph Hughes said that he's no longer associated with him and he does not agree with it. The lesson of the entire story is not even the content we publish, but how we deal with it. Damage control. If you publish something controversial or offensive, it's okay to take it down immediately. And if you offend people, you have to go and you have to apologize and you have to make it right away. It's not okay to sit for many days thinking about it. It's not okay to meditate on sensitive to so many people issue. So as far as Ryan Ward, I personally think he is a sick person. He should not be teaching spiritual growth, healing to anyone. We should not be given platform to people like that. That's unthinkable. Then anything that comes to kids, abuse of kids, is not acceptable. Somehow in our industry, it got in, and I hope it will never happen again. I think that Benny and Hughes are good guys. If I offended you guys, I want to publicly apologize to you. You are good guys, but you're a little bit too soft, and you have to be firmer on issues like child pornography and child abuse. That's my take. That's the story. Comment below what you think.
That's it for the week. Make sure, if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. It lets us know that you love the content, and we'll keep it coming for you. Check out the show next week. We'll see you on Sunday.
Thank you, Patrick, for filling up for me this week. Russian proverb of the week is «Делу время, потехи час». Business before pleasure. Literal translation is spend time on your business first and only 1 hour to take a break and to enjoy yourself on the pleasure. «Делу время, потехи час». Business before pleasure.